From independent Tibet.
Serious situation. We noticed every night Chinese troop movement and more guns. If something happens, then thousands of people. The Chinese authority spending suppression. Warning.
Because I wasn't going to see the camera. I got something to do. Stop watching.
It's an incredible experience, and first off, thank you for sharing it with us and creating it. And thank you all for being here. I just want to very quickly thank this and staff of this place. It's an incredible nonprofit campus for ideas and dialogue, and it has been here since 1935, functioning in that form. So if you have not come here before, come again. It's a magical place and a perfect place to gather and learn together with this film. So, thank you. I'm going to start with you because I know that this is, a culmination of a long relationship that you've had with His Holiness. And I also know that you're more than the executive producer. This is a project that was really a creative collective between you and Oren and Barbara and Philippe. So maybe if you could speak a bit to your first viewing of, I believe, of the interview that Barbara had done, and how it all began to evolve from there.
I'd like to look at the faces after this film when the lights come up. Because the world seems a little different for a while. Just, good things seem very possible. And I don't want to destroy that here by talking too much. Sometimes talking takes away from deeper feelings. I knew that this film was being made. It turns out it was 6 years ago you guys started that. And I'm usually, there've been a lot of films made about His Holiness. Philip and I laugh about this, but I think there's 86 that have been made. And, amongst us, we've probably seen them all. And I'm always a little bit skeptical of people who want to make a film. I can understand it because people fall in love with His Holiness and they want to make a movie. But it doesn't mean they're going to make a good movie. So about 1.5 years ago, they had contacted me and said, would you see our film? And he came to New York and showed me a very good rough cut of what we have tonight. And I watched it with my wife, Alejandra, and she was in tears at the end of the film. And I was very moved. And I mean, for many reasons, but it was a really good film. They had done just a wonderful job. And I had ideas about how maybe to make it a little bit better. But this central interview with His Holiness was so unique. And the Errol Morris technique that they had used of putting up a mirror in front of the lens, so His Holiness was looking directly into the lens. Barbara was on the side, so he was actually talking to Barbara. So you have this incredible sense of intimacy, in reality, of someone really communicating. He wasn't just looking at something blank, he was talking to Barbara and to Manuel Bauer at one point. So this incredible intimacy. I'd never seen a footage like this. And we'll never see it again. This is completely unique. And I think about as close as anyone can ever get to having a private audience with the Dalai Lama. And what a gift of being able to spend 1.5 hours with such an extraordinary person. You know, I've had the incredible good luck. I'm not even sure where it came from, but to be a student for 45 years of His Holiness, and just the mere fact of being in His gaze and feeling that purity. He talks about a warm heart so much. I mean, can there be a warmer heart than this man? All he wants is our happiness. How often do we experience that in our lives? So anyhow, I was just deeply proud to be part of this. And so I had some ideas, and I wanted to bring in a longtime collaborator of mine, Oren Moverman. We made 6 films together. So we set up an editing room with a terrific editor, Mike Sullivan, and just kind of played with it a bit, tweaked it here and there, came up with some new ideas, and in the meantime, there was new footage that was found, which I'm sure they would love to tell you about.
Yeah, I think too, this incredible weaving of this, you know, now he's 90, right? This incredible years of wisdom and then weaving in this beautiful biography of his life and his own experiences. Yeah, can you speak a little bit? The footage is just incredible, especially of that, you know, of his life and times, and you see the evolution politically, what's happening so vividly. So yeah.
Well, thank you for coming here. Please excuse, we have a little jet lag. We are 9 hours plus. We are just arrived. And thank you for coming here. And I'd like to welcome Bob Hillman and Bonnie Greenberg, who helped us with the music. That was one of the music. And also, we have this beautiful female voice, Autumn Bro. I hope she's here. She is. Thank you so much. Thank you, Richard. I mean, I still cannot explain my kids why we are always traveling, but I say Richard has more kids and he's traveling. We are here. Now, the footage. Yes, we were very close, thanks to Manuel Bauer, who was an intimate friend of the whole staff there, and was the official photographer for how many years?
35, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And I've known him for decades. And Menno's a very shy guy. He's just around His Holiness and taking pictures all the time. He never imposes himself. He's kind of an invisible, nice presence around His Holiness. And I'm sure that was the entrance point of how to
and
get this kind of time and access to His Holiness.
And that's how we were very welcomed and treated like part of the full team. So we kept asking them, in case you find some reels that you have not opened and not seen before, and they were always laughing, we have digitalized everything. And when we have been in New York, they sent us a picture of, oh really, they found 72 reels that have not been digitalized.
And the cell phone.
We were trying to get that footage out of India, and as you know, there's several layers to that film. One is political, so we didn't get an export permission to bring the material outside. So in the end, it was the personal secretary of His Holiness, Tzetin, who came with 2 very big bags, and Barbara was there, just arriving back from New York. He went to the airport 6 o'clock in the morning to welcome him, and immediately bring it to a specialized archive laboratory. They have very good technicians, full team. They opened everything with gloves, and some parts of it were with mold. Do I pronounce it right?
Yeah, mold.
So they were very mold. Mold. No, but it's also very serious because nobody has ever seen that footage, and it's cultural heritage, and it's, I don't know if you saw it, looks like reality, you know,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Which was the footage from that we used in this?
Well, many, like my most favorite part in the snow, the self-love experience.
So sweet, so sweet. Just a young boy, but so sweet.
But many more. So yeah, 7 days later he went back with a full digitalized version of all this footage because it belongs to the Tibetan government, to the Tibetan people and culture. So it's now archived there in the Ramsala in a very cold and clean place. But you have the privilege to see it, so that's the story.
Incredible. That footage and then this incredible interview, which you were saying, this sort of Errol Morris technique of where he is speaking to you, Barbara, but it seems as if he is speaking to us. And the emotion and connection, I mean, what an incredible experience for you to be in that room. And I want to kind of touch on there's so many things, so many themes and beautiful messages within the film, but this idea of the feminine and the power of the feminine and the rise of women into power. And I think there's something to be said for just the sort of back and forth that he is speaking to a woman when he's saying these things. He's sharing them to a woman, and I think that's really beautiful. So can you speak a little bit to that experience?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible being so close to the Dalai Lama, and this unconditional love you feel when you're close to him. And I mean, he really knew that when he was talking to me or into the camera, he was talking to each and every one. And he really, I think, I mean, he hasn't done a longer interview for a long time, so probably he knew it will be the last one he will give for such intensive time, and he knew he will talk directly to each and everyone who will watch it. So I think that it was there was so much love and care, and we started talking when I told him the story of my mother, because my mother had cancer, and when they found out, everyone said it was already too late. And I mean, she really loved the Dalai Lama all her life, and when I was a kid, she brought me already to these events, and for me it was always this really beautiful personality. So I told him this story, and my mother, when she felt so sick, she restarted reading all the books of the Dalai Lama, and I was able to bring a monk to the hospital, a Tibetan monk, because in Switzerland there is the first Tibetan monastery outside of India and Tibet that was made, and my mother in the end survived. So I told him this story, and he then started to talk about his mother. And yeah, I think this was a connection that he really came so deeply from his heart, and it's so beautiful to see how he talks about his mother, his parents, and also, yeah, the feminine aspect. And I think it's not so important if you're a man or a woman, but I mean, this feminine aspect that he's living, and that he's showing us that it's so important to have compassion and love for each and everyone. I think this is what it's all about.
Yeah, embodying that archetype, no matter the gender, of that nurturer, that compassionate. I was listening to an interview with you today, and you had said this film feels like medicine for these times. And it does, it feels that way. Can you speak a little bit more to?
Yeah. Before I forget, this is kind of a miraculous piece of film, because this was a 1 hour interview that they did. It was only 1 hour. This wasn't over many days, weeks. It was a 1 hour interview. They did this kind of gold. That is really a miracle. You know, when I first saw this film a year and a half ago, and then we kind of became partners in this process, we were coming upon the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, which was just this last July 6th. And we had been talking about, you know, what to do for His Holiness's birthday. And when I saw this film, immediately it felt like this would be the centerpiece of celebrating this extraordinary life, a testament to a meaningful life. But in the year and a half since we've been working on it, the world has taken a very dark turn. And I think this film is much more than that, than a testament and a kind of an appreciation of a 90-year-old man, as extraordinary as he is. But something that I think is really needed now is this corrective, this possibility of stepping back, literally learning how to breathe, step back from this crazy world we cohabit in right now, and look at ourselves and look at our world and say, is this what we want? Is this who I am? I think we always find ourselves being a little cruder than we would want to be, and a little more removed from each other than we would want to be. Is that who we are? And is that the world we want for ourselves and our kids and our grandkids? And I think the answer is pretty clearly no, it's not. And my hope for the film, I think all of us feel like this really is something that maybe can move the dial a little bit. Maybe a little bit. And maybe we get a little more courage. We don't let the bad guys take over our world. And we realize that we are very powerful. But we're powerful as loving, kind, generous, and wise beings. And if we accept that that's who we are, and embrace that, and embrace that we all together can have this enormous impact in the world we live in, I think we've done something here that we're very proud of. But I think, I keep saying, I've never worked this hard to get a movie out there, for people to see a movie. And I really feel this is so much more than just a movie. It's something that speaks to something deep and mysterious and powerful and vast inside us all. And hopefully that stimulates us to action.
Yeah. Yeah, what you were saying at the beginning, that, and kind of giving us a moment on that first question of the shared experience of watching this together. And, you know, I think I certainly cried most of the film and was deeply moved. And it also reinforced so many things that I've been thinking about, and I know our community's been thinking about sort of, you know, it's speaking to the truth, and that's what we recognize of, you know, connecting to self, understanding yourself. I love what he says about self-confidence and having the bravery to understand yourself, and then
To love yourself.
to love yourself.
It was kind of shocking to see him say, you know, I love myself.
Yeah.
And we kind of, a Western reaction is, well, you're not supposed to be that bold about how fabulous you are, you loving yourself. But then he says, you know, it's, if I can't love myself, it's impossible to love someone else. You just don't even know what it means if you can't get in touch with the beauty inside yourself.
Yeah, and that's where it all starts, right? And, you know, the simplicity of the messages that he's giving us in this is really just so powerful. The sort of, you know, he says, I love myself because I'm a human, and a human deserves happiness, you know?
That's why we're here.
Yes,
In
yes.
fact, we deserve it. That's the reason we're here.
Exactly. I'm wondering, you know, from, you know, you're getting to kind of share this remedy. How did the experience of making that change each of you?
Now, this is interesting because these guys are not Buddhists. And Oren, who worked as not Buddhist. I am. So I think it'd be interesting for us to have our emotional connection to this.
Yeah, I'm really a beginner, and it feels like a privilege to learn it. Not only to love oneself, which is very hard thing, but there are these techniques that are scientifically proven. So yes, I started to meditate, and it works. It's so simple, and you know, it always depends on the context. Like, I have small kids, and sometimes they lose their temper, and you cannot tell the 5-year-old girl, hey, now you lean back and relax and breathe. But now she is 8 years old, and she tells me, hey, relax, breathe. So yes, it's a privilege to learn all this, and I forgot to mention Tathagatas, who is here with us, and you're part of what motivates us, and everything seems so easily that we're traveling with you and we're permanent messaging, so it's such a privilege to also work with you.
Yeah, Tencho Gyatso is the president of the International Campaign for Tibet, and she's also the niece of the Dalai Lama. So could you stand up? Tencho Gyatso.
And I'd like to add, maybe you didn't ask that, but I need to, before I forget it with my jet lag, there is one tragedy. You know, it's difficult or a privilege to make a film, but then there's another task. You have to show it to the people and get out of the bubble. And we did this now for a year in Europe, very successfully. Like in Switzerland, this film was the most successful documentary since more than 13 years. And we were reaching way out of Tibetan context, Buddhist context. We went into businesses, we went into government, we were having parliamentarian screenings, and it was like everybody saw that film. And also thanks to you, Richard, there is no way that I live in a village where there are farmers, and those farmers went to see it. It's not an urban film. It works in rural context too. It works not depending on education level. So when I can ask you, if somebody is here in the room who could help us a little bit how to get more attention for this film in this continent, we are very open, and we are here after the Q&A, because we still don't understand why we didn't break through. Well, they told us it's really good to be 5 weeks in a theater in New York, but in Switzerland we have been there for 28 weeks. So we don't, still it's like a little mystery. So if there's somebody in the room, maybe have some ideas, we are here to listen carefully.
This is LA. Someone's out there.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, through my mother, I really got in touch really early with meditation, with yoga, with a lot of these beautiful aspects of life. But in daily lives, I often forgot, to practice, to think about just breathing, really just breathing. And doing this film helped me so much to remind me of all these things. I mean, this is like just the everyday feeling you have, and how you can really, when you get angry, control your feelings, feel, especially the other thing is not feeling desperate in these times, having this feeling of hope and knowing we're not alone in this. We are so many, we're all over the world, human beings, and we need this message of hope, and that there's a future for us, and that each and every one of us can start with oneself, and we can share it with others, and together, as he says, one by one, by 100, by thousands, by 100,000, by a million. And I so often repeat this in my daily life, and I heard from many people who have seen the film, who went to see it several times, that they really take it with them, that they have, can feel this positive,
Seed.
that this positive seed that the film also can help you to refine in yourself, and it's growing, and this is really, this is what the film gave me, and I hope it gives to each and everyone who sees it.
And it's about the social aspect, about communities, and how we, just how you said it so perfectly, but then on the other hand, it's just how to work with emotions. Like everybody has anger, like you mentioned it, and anger is not good for yourself, it's not good for the other. But then I learned in Tibetan Buddhism that you can take the energy of the anger and use it not to just be silent, but to stop the wrongdoing of the others, as long as it's not against the actor, but against his action. So I try to do that in my life. And there's a lot of things going wrong in daily life where you should say, hey, I don't agree, we should do it like this. So without contradiction, no progress. I think all these words are so secular and so advanced that why is the world so sick? I think because a lot of people don't know how to work and they're not aware of their emotions, of their negative emotions. And yes, it's a privilege to add a little piece of knowledge through a film and reach audience that would not listen to this knowledge.
Yeah, my friend Ann Bitterman is watching the film, and my son is right here too. My son, Omar. Ann said, it's just a beautiful film, very simple. And I said, yes, this is that simplicity. I forget where this phrase comes from, but the simplicity that we seek is on the other side of complication. It's hard won. It's not easy to get there. But His Holiness is able to explain extremely complex things in a very simple way. I can't do that. I sound like an idiot when I do that. He's able to say things in an extremely simple way that a child can hear it, or the man who sweeps the floor, or the woman who reads. Or he could talk to a world leader at their level, or he could talk to a Harvard professor of philosophy or psychology at their level. But in the end, because he embodies it so much, that he can do it in this simple way. So to me, this movie is the tip of an iceberg. So we're experiencing the tip, but the resonances, which are much deeper, come along with the film. I think that's one of the powers of what these guys have done and what we were able to do together, that to allow it to be that simple and that direct, and never violate the impulse of His Holiness to keep it this simple when he's talking to what I think he must have known was going to be a large audience, a general audience that can be touched and moved and empowered. You know, I see this film very much as a call to action. I don't see this as a passive meditation, but I think the subtext of what His Holiness is saying is, if you want these things, if you want peace, if you want wisdom, if you want love in your life, you have to make it. And you have to be in the world. You have to change the world. Not to be skillful and not do it through violence and anger, which you see never works in the end. It just creates more chaos. But still to have the power to engage the world. It was more obvious with someone like Gandhi, who was actively in the world engaging in a very profound and dramatic way, very operatic way. His Holiness's approach is not like that, but it's still with courage, be in the world, work with people with great intelligence, with wisdom, always with a warm heart, with great skill, great, profound skill.
Yeah, the call to action and the sort of idea of hope and happiness being an act of political resistance, of despite everything not allowing the energies to make us feel hopeless, make us feel angry, but to tap into that hope and use that hope to unify.
Yeah, to unify. That's really the point of what he's saying. That collective energy of us having a common vision of possibility. I think the film is very good at that, creating a common vision for us to go, yeah, okay, yes. All right, let's go.
Yeah. And what you were saying about these concepts are, and he says it himself, they are secular. They are all religions point towards love. And I think it's really important to share in this film, share that sort of idea that is we're all connected through our faith as well.
And again, complexity doesn't need necessary to lead to conspiracy. But with this film, Call to Action in Switzerland, many other countries like Germany, Czech Republic, Hungary, Spain, we were seeing very conservative people that would be politically on the other end of our value. And that's magical, and that I would call a real call to action, and everybody agrees. And we were so, and every time, and I think you're doing the same, every time like a Republican shows up, we specially mention him, saying, hey, it's incredible that you're here, because we have our choir, and we love to sing in a choir, but
Preaching to the choir. Trying to get this straight. Preaching to the choir.
will you forgive me? But the point is, you were asking about call to action, and with this film, we were able to do it in Europe, and we are very excited. And I
I
think
was just in Mexico City and
we were just coming back.
And the same reaction. The same. I mean, the same. The lights come up. It's that same.
He was talking towards the end about the otherness that we kind of self-impose on one another. He said something to the effect of like, you know, I'm Tibetan or I'm Chinese or whatever, these kind of structurally imposed identifications with each other that end up becoming divisive. And I'm reminded of a scripture by the Lost Book of Thomas in the Bible, where Jesus supposedly says that in the end days, I will come to mend all divisions. Like he talked about how this is the truth of genuine immortality, is to mend what has been separated. And so I just wanted to share that and just say I'm really, really honored I was able to be here tonight. So grateful for the panel and the discussion, and just what a perfectly timed piece of work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Some of the nature photography, especially that installation of the large photographs with shadowed people looking at the images. I'd love to hear your creative process and how you capture those. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was incredible. The art and
We did it was 2019, and there was the lockdown, and at that time we could not go anywhere, so we went with Manuel just to film clouds and mountains. And then life started to begin, and we were just very lucky. That was an exhibition in Oberhausen in Germany about our state of the world and environment. And if you look carefully, there is still everybody's wearing masks. So we were just very lucky to find this venue, and they were open enough to let us shoot there. It was really cold, but yes, that's how we did it.
Yeah, and I mean, Manuel, and we didn't mention, he's the still photographer.
Yes!
She just had the baby.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
And again, we cannot thank Bonnie enough, because we are also human. Sometimes we need to sleep a bit. So when we go to sleep, like here now, +9 in Europe, now the sun comes out and here it goes down. So whenever we were with you on Zoom, you took over because we had to rest a bit, because then the day here starts. So we're so thankful for all you did, Bonnie. Really, really.
Stand up and take a bow.
Is this available? Is it on the Academy screening room?
Yeah.
Have you submitted
Yes.
it for consideration at the
Yeah.
Oscars?
In the documentary branch,
Oh,
yes.
fantastic, fantastic. Are there DVDs available or links available so we can send them to our friends for Christmas?
Not yet. We are going through the process.
He's not ready to give it away yet.
No, we would buy
Oh,
She would buy it.
no, but next after that will be an educational program, and we have
Yeah, you should talk about the education program that you guys were doing in Switzerland.
yes,
It's amazing.
in Switzerland, Germany, Italy, Spain, Hungary, Czech Republic, we have educational material, and there is a huge request from schools, like Barbara Hogany schools in Switzerland, how many classes, and it's very good for sponsoring. Like, so we have a screen, but maybe Kencha can tell us.
There was a screening in the United States Capitol. Wow. Yeah, and this just recently was screened in DC also, but not in the White
Yeah, you can use it.
We don't know who to talk to. Yeah, we've actually had 2 screenings in the Capitol. It was kind of amazing, the response from the congressman. and
She'll get it
senators, friends.
In answer to your question about how to get things seen more in America, and within the work that I've been doing, I'm doing a documentary series called Motherlands that's about feminine wisdom and joy and going to your mother's land to discover how to live a happier life. So this was very relevant to the work that I've been doing, and was very excited to see the Dalai Lama talking about his mother and the kind of the illness between competitive male and masculinity. So I think a really impactful way to showcase this, maybe a little bit more avant-garde, but I think the most impactful way would be to try to showcase it in the prison communities, or, you know, there's so many organizations here that can help you guys funnel that.
I
Sorry.
don't know if you can hear. Can you guys hear? No.
I will project, I am also an actor, hold on. I was suggesting to showcase it in the prison systems in the US.
In the prison systems.
Yes. And then my question as a filmmaker, a documentarian, documentary is so hard. And so I'm wondering if you guys had any points of losing faith, how did you get back into your faith as to the end, this beautiful end goal that we see tonight?
Yeah, I mean, for example, as we were mentioning before, the day we had the interview, we were preparing for 2 days, you know, with the crew, Indian crew. We had to get up to the mountains and to Dharamsala, bringing all the stuff up with the Swiss crew, doing everything perfectly. And when the Dalai Lama entered the room, Manuel and the staff said, wow, today he's not feeling really well, because he was sick 2 days before. And we prepared 3-4 hour interviews with a lot of questions, and in the end they said, you only have an hour. So I mean, you're there and you know you have to get, it's a whole pressure, but I mean, the way how he is there, he's so open, he was so concentrated, he was so clear-minded. So I mean, it was really a gift to have this hour, but that also meant for us that we had to search for all these in-betweens to be able to tell the story of 90 minutes. And we went through all the most important speeches the Dalai Lama has done all over the world, finding the right words, finding the right tonality, how he is saying things, because he can say it so differently, and sometimes his voice is really loud, sometimes it's just whispering. So it needed a lot of time and a lot of energy to find this right pieces. So I mean, we often were there like having this feeling of, wow, we can't make it to 90 minutes. And then again, you find this incredible piece, or Manuel is coming back with these wonderful images, and then you're like, yes. And I mean, it was the same with the archive material. I mean, we have seen a lot of these films which are done, and we always have seen that the quality of the archival material is not so good. And we were so struggling with it, you know, to have images which aren't so, you don't feel it like if it's from today. And then having this box, this occasion to find this material, which is so, I mean, it looks like when we saw it for the first time.
You can fly, he only said that once. So it was such like you were for days and days listening, transcribing, reading, and then suddenly you think, you find one sentence that says it all. It's about reducing complexity. And then in the editing, to find a good balance of not being too negative, not being too depressive, still have hope. That never ends. We for 2 years we have been editing, and then what Richard calls a rough cut.
It was a rough cut.
But still, I mean, you never finish a film. You just let it go. I'm
They
suffering.
take it away from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in the end, though, that as with all creative projects, that I mean, making anything is hard, right? But that the necessity being the mother of invention, that's an American phrase, but this idea that you had this core interview, but then you had to edit and find all these other things that these wisdoms that he had shared over the years and weave them into something cohesive and make something entirely beautiful.
Yeah, no, I was knocked out by it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been, I don't know how many hundreds of times and hundreds of teachings I've been to, and what you culled from all of that, those talks around the world, but also the technique of making them blend so beautifully, you'd never think that they weren't in the same interview. Beautifully done, really beautifully done.
And it's also a process of learning. So, for example, I love myself. That part was not in the interview at all. But then we realized this is so important to everybody. And I don't dare to ask you who loves yourself really. I mean, I don't dare to. But we found it so important for everything. So it was such a joy to just try to find those sentences and combine it with the new archival footage when they walk up the hill.
The first time I saw this, they had found His Holiness saying that he had considered Mao to be his father.
Yeah.
I never heard anything like that before. It was so astonishing. And I'm sure there were people who said, don't use that. But it's so perfect for this film that he went through an evolutionary process as well. And still had human respect for Mao, but acknowledged, he did some really bad things. But to allow him to be the boy, I mean, he said to me many times, I was 16 years old when they invaded. What did I know? And that's real. He was essentially living in the 16th century when they were invaded. And in a few years, he entered the late 20th century. I mean, and all Tibetans did. I see all Tibetans here in the room. Many of them are older and gone through that process right here. You were in the 16th century and now you're in the 21st. But I think that's part of the story and part of the import, the jewel of this. This is a cultural phenomenon. The Dalai Lama didn't come out of the US. It came out of this extraordinary culture. And when you say the 14th Dalai Lama, no, he is the 14th Dalai Lama. This is evolutionary. He couldn't exist without Tibet. But now he's bigger than Tibet. He became bigger than Tibet. He became all of our Dalai Lama. He became universal. And I know in some ways it's hard for the Tibetans to give him to the world, isn't it? He's ours. But you found a way to do it and embrace that the Dalai Lama belongs to everyone now.
Well, also the fact that he emerged from this culture that was keeping this incredible culture and wisdom alive within the culture itself, and then to have the perspective of being in the 20th century into the 21st century, but having the knowledge and the history, and then to be able to offer it in the way that we're able to now with sound and vision and technology, and to be at this apex in our world where science and
the Dalai Lama is talking about the feminine leadership. And so I was really curious as a filmmaker myself, what question did you ask to begin that conversation so that he would really talk about
Interesting.
the divine feminine and embodying it, whether you're masculine or feminine.
Man or a woman.
Right, no
You know,
matter
men
what.
can be, absolutely have that kind of energy.
You do.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the first story was really the one about my mother, and then I asked him, how he sees the role of women in the world. And this is how he started to talk about it. And I mean, it's a thing that, of course, we studied a lot of what are his core messages before, what should we ask, and the Dalai Lama is a person which his whole life really did so much for women. And when a political leader, a president was elected, he wrote a letter to encourage the women, and he did so much for the nuns in Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, who didn't have a chance to get higher in the ladder, in the hierarchy, and nowadays they are able. And I mean, this idea that he says the next Dalai Lama could be female. I mean,
Talk about that.
I mean,
I want to know that.
yeah, he really he mentioned it, I think, 2 or 3 times in his life, and it's really important for him because he thinks time is ready, and it would be so beautiful, for example, if the Pope would say also something like that.
I was just gonna say that. Time for the priests to be women as well.
But as
I'm
his
gonna
Holiness
just
has
have
said,
one
just,
more.
just to follow up on that, he's often said, you know, in balance between men and women, it's probably easier for women to become enlightened because of that basic sense of love and selflessness, frankly, that women have to a more predominant degree than men naturally do.
Do you think that's brain chemistry?
Hormones.
Yeah.
Thanks to estrogen.
Yeah, I mean, there are other problems associated with what every woman knows, but that core thing of being selfless, a mother's gonna be way more selfless than a father is, just the way it is. And that core of really genuine love, selfless love and compassion, together with wisdom, those are the 2 wings. That's it, you fly, that's enlightenment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making the film. I was curious because you guys were asking for feedback. Is his Holiness had a chance to watch the film and had any feedbacks?
Yeah, Tensha, you have to come up and tell us. Tensha showed it to you.
Oh, okay.
While His Holiness was here in the States recovering from the knee surgery, was staying at a private residence upstate in New York. And at that time, Philip and Barbara and Richard sent the film over to
We were
show His
desperate,
Holiness.
of course, to hear what he had to say.
But I'm afraid I don't have much to say. His Holiness wasn't really interested in seeing himself. I knew that, so I marked all the places where he would see his friends and the old.
All the old footage
all
he
the
left.
old
Yeah,
footage.
playing in the snow.
So yes, the thing in the snow. So I moved it forward and showed him all the.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much to the 3 of you for bringing this film into the world. And I also just want to take this opportunity to the real call to action. You all have your information here, and maybe if you could just, to wrap this up, speak to the ways that we can help to take action and support Tibet.
Tensha, I like hearing you talk.
I think, thank you, all of you. coming to watch this film. I think for us, for Tibetans especially, this film is very poignant and really, and I think of all the young Tibetans, and especially the Tibetans inside Tibet who have not seen this film yet. And I hope this will be really precious for them because they get to see and learn who His Holiness is. So I think that's really precious. I'm president of International Campaign for Tibet, and Richard is the chairman of our board of directors and is my boss.
She's my boss. Don't believe her for a second.
But International Campaign for Tibet is an organization that was created, grassroots organization that's supported by people who have been touched by His Holiness, who've been touched by Tibetans, Tibetan culture, and who want to do something to help Tibet. So what we do is we advocate for Tibetan governments around the world. So I'm based in Washington, D.C. We have also offices internationally in Germany and then in
Amsterdam,
and
Brussels.
And to learn more, our website is savetibet.org. So please visit.
savetibet.org.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to emphasize, really the focus of the work is the Tibetans inside of Tibet. You know, there are, what are we saying, 6.5, 7 million Tibetans. As His Holiness said, over 1 million were killed in that first decade of the invasion. And Tibet is completely locked up now. Nobody gets out. It used to be that there were 3,000, 4,000 a year would walk out with great harm, walking over the Himalayas to get to Nepal or Himachal Pradesh or Arunachal Pradesh to India. No one is getting out now. It's completely locked up. And tourists aren't really going. Certainly politicians are not going. Reporters are not going. Journalists tell me it's easier to get into North Korea than Tibet. So it's a desperate situation for them right now. And the focus of our work is for them.
And you asked before how you do or what you're doing when you're desperate in filmmaking and some things are not happening and you think it will never ever happen. I think these are exactly things that motivates you to continue because you have like it makes sense. In the end you have a goal that you want to achieve, and with this film we wanted to bring Tibetan situation again really on the political level, and that people talk about it, and we really try to share this ancient knowledge of the Dalai Lama, this wisdom which is so important for each and every one of us with the world. And I think this was really the goal why we continued 5-6 years really to finish this film.
Along with His Holiness, in diaspora outside of Tibet, there are about 120,000 Tibetans outside that are spread over. And we have a small Tibetan community also in Southern California, in the Los Angeles area here. And you'll see this year we're celebrating the Dalai Lama's 90th as a year of compassion. And our Tibetan friends here have, as you enter the hall, you'll see the altar and the decorations, and there's also panels about His Holiness's life that our friends have come here, and they would also very much like to offer a kata, which is a Tibetan way of greeting for our filmmakers and for Richard for coming here and being with us and for sharing this beautiful film here. So I have the president of the Tibetan Association of Southern California, Namdala. And Samala is vice president here.
Actually, so on behalf of the Tibetan Association of Southern California, And as a Tibetan, I would like to thank the filmmakers for making this amazing and beautiful film, right? It's truly inspirational, very timely, and we wish it would go to the White House. Maybe it will, who knows? But anyway, on behalf of all the Tibetans in the diaspora, 6 million Tibetans in Tibet, we'd like to thank Richard for his lifetime of dedication, loyalty. Friends actually call him Richard Gere. So, Richard Gere, thank you so much for all your love, support, and a lifetime of seriously 45 years. Imagine 45 years of non-stop, support and love for Tibet. So we'd like to thank Richard. And then Barbara and Philip, it was truly a pleasure to meet you guys today. We're a small community, but we came out here. Some of us have seen the film. I've seen it 3 times, but it's truly each time you see it, you get so much more, right? I mean, it's just amazing. So for us, it's a small community here, but we came mainly to say thank you to the filmmakers and Richard for everything. So thank
Lani tilo tem per